All right, you ready, Spencer?
Yeah, hold up. I'm gonna put my argument in debate too. So basically, it states that you have to use facts and
Wait, where did you put it?
in debate too.
Oh, okay.
So basically, the argument is that the only explanation for these facts is the resurrection hypothesis, and I will refute any explanation you put other than the resurrection, because I don't think it can be explained.
Uh, so you're saying that Jesus resurrected, therefore God exists?
Yeah, that kind of disprove it.
How do we know that the resurrection of Jesus is caused by God? Or what is the entailment there? How do you derive an entailment from someone coming back to life, to God?
Is that natural?
What are you saying?
That not naturally found in the world?
Um, no. Well, actually,
Okay,
yes.
so I mean, that doesn't naturally happen. I mean, wouldn't that be a
Well, it depends
miracle?
on what is your definition of natural.
I mean, normally seen, like,
Yes, then yes.
people don't resurrect.
Yes, yes, there's been
Give me one instance.
hospitals, like, again,
Do they go dead for
dial,
3 days?
they
And
can they can use, like, again, electromagnetic chemical to restart people's hearts.
that's not the same.
How is it not the
They
same?
aren't really dead when you do like
Well, define
electromagnetic
death.
stuff.
What is death?
To be
Your heart stopping?
no, like actually dead, not like there's like
Well, what
three
does
stages.
actually dead mean?
There's 3 stages of death.
Mm-hmm.
After the third stage, like no, like no chance of like getting back.
Well, what do
Nothing.
you're not clarifying to what I'm asking. I'm saying, what does actually dead mean, right?
They pass the third stage of
What are the
death.
stages? What are the stages?
Let's see.
Bro, not gonna lie. Dark Souls is hard as fuck right now.
So we have um mortis, algor mortis, rigor mortis,
Oh,
and livor
okay.
mortis. Heart stopped beating. Blood is now at mercy of gravity.
See, the thing is that when you affirm something is non-natural or supernatural, that means that every naturalistic explanation to it must necessarily be impossible, right? And I feel like, based off of your affirmations, you made the presupposition that every naturalistic explanation is possible. And my question to you is, how would you justify every single naturalistic explanation for the account that you've given is impossible?
Don't know. I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, again, so you're saying he came back to life and this isn't natural. Well, that's
Mhm.
assuming that every naturalistic scenario is logically or physically impossible, meaning the only type of explanation we can give to this phenomenon is a supernatural one, which is what you're arguing for, right?
Well, yeah. So I'm gonna if you put up a
Well,
explanation
no,
that's
you would need to justify as to why every naturalistic explanation is impossible, because the only way we can get from natural to supernatural is by having natural being impossible. So
yeah.
what is your argument for every naturalistic
So
explanation being impossible?
if you put up a naturalistic theory, they don't explain
The thing is,
these.
I do not have the burden of proof. You have the burden of proof. So it would be
Okay,
on you.
my argument is that if you put up a theory, it cannot explain these facts. Therefore, it's
Hold on.
not.
See, that argument is switching the burden of proof, right? And what I'm
It's
saying
not.
here is, yes it is, because I'm not making any affirmations. You're the only one that's making a claim. And the claim that you're making is that the only explanation we have here is supernatural. Now, that claim assumes that every naturalistic explanation is impossible. I'm asking you, what is the demonstration for the assumption you're making being valid? So, how could you prove to me every naturalistic explanation is impossible?
Because they don't explain the facts.
That's an argument from ignorance.
How? Go.
Unexplained facts, because we don't know, makes your explanation true.
Oh, because my explanation has highest explanatory scope. highest explanatory power?
No. It's like saying like we have some unknown X. Right now, there's two people. Person one says I don't know. Person two says the answer is B. Right. Just because person one doesn't know the answer doesn't make person two's answer correct. And now what I'm
Well, I
saying,
mean,
no, what?
but I mean, I feel like the person two would then kind of like win the debate, because if they can't put up an alternative explanation,
Not
then
necessarily. That by definition is an argument from ignorance. And when I say that you have the burden of proof, you would need to demonstrate why every other naturalistic explanation is impossible to even get to a supernatural one. Is what I'm saying.
okay. So, soul and body hypothesis does not explain how they died for their death. Let's see, lying hypothesis did not explain how they died for their death.
It's the thing is like you can go onto forever. You can keep saying all these hypotheses, and that won't give every single naturalistic explanation. Because do you know what possible worlds are?
Yeah.
Well, you would have to account for every single possible world, which there's an infinitude of possible worlds. So it's just there's no way to get to the impossibility of naturalistic phenomenon to lead to the supernatural one. That's just not possible, just based off what infinity is. Unless you want to sit here for like 20 hours trying to do this, right? I just don't think you meet the burden of proof in this argument.
I mean, if you can't explain a theory,
I don't need to, because I'm not making a claim.
So did the resurrection happen?
I don't know. I'm not making any claim. I'm asking you to fulfill your burden of proof. That's all I'm doing.
Okay, my burden of proof is that every single naturalistic explanation that you can put forward is
Not that I can put forward that actually exists. Not that I put forward, because I'm not putting forward anything.
Literally all of these don't fit the facts.
Okay. So I'm not making any claims. I'm not putting forward any explanation.
All right, wait, hold on. Zeref.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as the judge, I'm just gonna say that you guys are kind of going on ad nauseum. Spencer, you're kind of strawmanning him. He's not. He never put forward any sort of claim, so he doesn't have a burden to fulfill. He doesn't have to fulfill any naturalistic claim because he never made one. He just said, "I don't know," and he's asking you to fulfill your burden of proof. You guys just keep on going inside of like this ad nauseum point where you're just straw manning. So if you guys could like get through this, then that'd be very helpful to me.
There's only two ways we can get through this. It's either he actually does it, or he would just concede on this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's basically. Also, Spencer, could you like speak up a little bit?
Yeah.
I can't really hear you that well.
Okay. So I'm now going to move on to this. That any explanation that you claim,
I'm not claiming it. See, the thing is, what Anmioto just said is, I'm not claiming anything. So saying that is just a straw man fallacy. Do you know what a straw man fallacy is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
I mean, it kind of sounds to me that you're, that's conceding that the resurrection happened, but...
No, I'm not. I'm waiting for you to fulfill your burden of proof.
What's my burden of proof?
I said this like 6 times. You would need to prove to me every naturalistic explanation that exists is impossible.
Okay.
It's like simple, like what is it called? Elimination, right? So like we have a bunch of scenarios. We just keep eliminating them until finding the only possible. So you'd have to eliminate all natural ones that exist, which is, again, there's an infinite amount of them. So I don't know how would do that.
I'm just gonna move on to my actualizer.
Oh, so you concede on this point?
I mean, I don't concede that the resurrection didn't happen.
Well, then if you don't concede on this point specifically,
no, I don't concede that the resurrection did not happen. No.
Okay, then if you don't concede on this point, fulfill your burden of proof. We can't just skip over this. It's either you concede this point specifically and can move on to your whatever actualizer thing, or
okay, I can see that the point that I cannot name every single natural.
Okay, sure. All right. What is your actualize your argument?
I put in debate too.
Okay. Gray,
What's up? What
look at the argument he just sent.
in debate too? My precog is out of. I'm out of my mind.
All right. Anyways, let me chill. All right. So do you like argue it? Like, just give me the basic parts of the argument.
So that change is real, and that change cannot go ad infinitum.
Okay,
then,
hold up, pause. Why can't change go ad infinitum?
Sure. So, Aquinas argues that there's two types of infinite regresses. We have accidentally ordered and essentially ordered. Aquinas argues that there cannot be an infinite essentially ordered causal series. Because basically he states that these causes are ontologically dependent. No, these effects are ontologically dependent on their causes. So that let's say we have. I actually put this down a few days ago, but I'm gonna try to get it. Let's see. So I put it in the. So let me ask you something. When you plug in your laptop, do you plug it into the wall or do you plug it into an infinite strip? That's kind of what I'm explaining here.
An infinite what?
An infinite strip or just something like that. Or do you plug it into the wall?
I plug it into the wall.
Okay, exactly. So I mean, read the thing I sent in debate too.
Consider a flower being suspended by a chain of rings. The bottom of the rings hold up the flower pod, virtue being held up above it. Okay, so the problem here is that we need to find out if an actual infinite can exist in the past in a temporal sense. And the thing is that when we talk about temporality, right, or a causes, we need to agree on a definition of time. So what do you think time is?
No, this is not really.
Well, when you say the chain, because I think I know what your argument is going down.
This is about an infinite series of causes. This is not
infinite series of causes, and do you know causality is a temporal function?
Not necessarily.
Okay, how is causality not a temporal function?
I mean, because
if time, well, it just depends on what you think time is. Again, we just need to come to a consensus on what time is.
Okay, what theory of time do you subscribe to?
Eternalism.
Okay, so I can actually debunk that. You know the hold up
I can give my justification for eternalism.
Give your justification.
Well, in current physics, and we have demonstrable evidence because you understand that Einstein's theory of relativity entails eternalism, right? And how gravity and time dilation behaves. Eternalism is necessarily true based on our observations of space. And eternalism is like a direct conflict to what your syllogism is proposing as a theory of time. Because I know this argument you're using. It's Edward Feser's Kalam cosmological argument.
Yeah, it's not Kalam, but
or cosmological, whatever you want to call it.
So I can refute this with the Borgu-Vilankin theorem that states that that deduces that any universe that has on average been expanding throughout history cannot be infinite of past, but must have a space-time boundary.
Why? Well, hold on.
Cut.
What is? So you're saying that it cannot have an infinite past? Why exactly?
Because it's been expanding and it keep on expanding. Because
well, see, the thing is that I'm not saying that the universe is infinite. I'm saying time and space itself would be a thing that's infinite, right? Because let's take for example, let's just assume this is the case, that the universe is finite, but there's some greater cosmos or greater space-time, whatever, right? And there's other physical things that exist outside of the universe, and the universe is, the space-time encompasses the universe, and this space-time is eternal, and the universe is finite. What is the problem with that theory or that idea?
Because I just don't think that. Wait, do you wait like 2 seconds.
Okay.
So explain your thing again now.
I'm presenting you a theory of time and how the universe can be finite, but time and space cannot be, right? And there's no problems with that theory. There's no contradiction in it.
So what was before the Big Bang?
What I'm saying here is that there's no reason to believe that the origin of time and space comes from the universe, or starts with the universe. And assuming that there is a greater cosmos, which time and space is, what time and space is, and it encompasses the universe, we can have the universe being finite, and this greater time and space or cosmos being infinite. And there's no logical or metaphysical contradiction with this idea. So I would say that affirming the impossibility of an actual infinite or an infinite time is demonstrably false, since there's no contradiction present in that idea I just presented.
Right. I have some studies on if space-time is fundamental or emergent. So, if it was emergent, that means it didn't always exist, and that it's obviously not.
See, the thing is, there's a problem, because those studies have to be based on our universe, and we can't know things that are outside of our universe. So those studies would be useless if I'm talking about what's outside of the universe.
What do you mean by outside the universe?
Outside of our 93 billion light years we can observe. It's because you're coming to conclusions about things that exist beyond our universe, right? And all I'm saying here is there is a possibility that your conclusions are false, and there's no way to demonstrate that this possibility as impossible, because we can't know what's outside of our universe.
So how did you come to the conclusion?
I'm not coming to a conclusion. I'm just saying it's possible.
So it's only possible that.
Yes. Okay, what I'm saying here is you're affirming an actual, and this actual is an infinite past can't happen. I'm affirming a possibility in which it could happen, right? And if this possibility is not countered or proven impossible, then your claim of an actual is necessarily false or not justified. So what you would need to do is demonstrate the contradiction in the example I gave you of there being an outer time and space or an outer cosmos. And what I'm saying here is you can't come to actual conclusions about things we can't know about, like outside of the universe.
Okay, how is time outside the universe?
Because you would be presupposing that time originates with the universe. And unless you can give me a reason as to demonstrating that, I don't think you can come to that conclusion. I'm saying there's no reason to believe it, that time originates in it. Is that after this debate, you want me to send you the full argument that you're using? Because the full argument's 49 premises.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I concede, I guess. I don't really.
Okay, Jedi, stop the recording.
Yeah.